Hi, I'm Nico, pronouns he, him. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here today. It's gonna be a nice day, I guess.
Hi, I'm Muriel, I'm 30 years old, she, her, they, them, and I'm also really looking forward to especially tease you a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Myself.
Like
To like double myself. No, that's not like the kind of time machine. No. I don't know. I would really like to have sex with myself. So.
I would seriously say the vulva. There is so much culture in the world of like people celebrating dicks and everything. Like there is whole parts of the world where they are like seen as signs of fertility and everything. Moving a little bit away from this very male perspective into like this female aspect would serve the world a lot.
Getting really fun questions.
The naughtiest text I've ever sent must be a text that I've sent you, for sure. We mostly use voicemail, and I tend to get really creative. Like even the dynamic we have sometimes we can also have when we're not next to each other. So I really love to send like sometimes very bossy, very I own you, very power dynamic-y messages over to you, telling you that you're mine and like what you have to do, and imagining that you're like.
And it's really funny every time that happens. I'm like, please tell me this and that. I'm such a bratty persona.
Yes,
but
yes,
then
you are.
You really get into the mood, but I'm really specific. Like our dynamic is kind of like, I can be quite submissive, but it usually happens when I say, let's do it like this now. Tease me like this, and then you kind of get creative from there on. Yeah. It's really interesting for me because I'm such a huge switchy persona. I started being more submissive and doing a lot of shoots, and also in my private life being submissive. And then when I finally figured out like how to be dominant, I was really, really into it.
I learned to be submissive, or like I learned to appreciate being submissive with you, actually. The most part of my life, I was like trying to mostly sometimes even pretending to be in control, because I felt like I was expected to be in control all the time. When we met, I feel like something clicked, and I was like, I don't have to pretend all the time. I can let go. I can be vulnerable. I can be weak, and that was very beautiful.
Pretty much the same, I think. Like it's just the other way around. As like a quote-unquote woman growing up, you're like kind of forced to pretend you're small. So I feel like what I really, really love is to also with rope sometimes to actually get bigger than smaller and like take room up. But then also at the same time, it's just like it's super comforting to be little and cute because you wanted to, and not because like society is kind of forcing you to, but like to really figure out what you want in a certain moment.
Right now, I feel like I can see myself being dominant. I can see myself being a little bit more submissive in situations, and I feel like seeing that and feeling like, okay, it's a choice. It's not like I have to or it's expected. I can have a choice if I submit to something that's expected, or if I say no and do my thing.
It can also switch like what you really focus on, and for me something that is specifically nice for me when I was submissive or also like dominant is like to have a focus on shame and how shame is affecting you, not only in the bedroom but also in your day-to-day life. And when you learn to be able to lose or be able to enjoy that something shameful is happening, you take it more easily when something happens in life, and you're kind of like sometimes used to not win or like be the best, and you find pleasure in that too. When I have customers for massages or like also for my own personal life, I feel like the more dominant sometimes I am, the more I also need to be small and cute and hold. And I think that's something which is also really important. Like it takes guts, like when you're used to be dominant, to be able to speak out, and because that's something you're known, like you're known for being dominant, you're known for leading. That's also why so many guys, they're afraid of like saying like, please hold me, please can I be the little spoon, because they're so much used to not be that kind of version of themselves. Sometimes it's nice to not talk about what you want to do, but like what fascinates you, or like what you're interesting, what you're curious about, and then maybe see, in case you're talking with your partner, if they're interested in that too. Start really small and build up from there.
Have fun, like expect nothing to be perfect, and ask a lot of questions to each other.
And I would also strongly say not to follow like a construct. Like if you see me tying, or if we're doing a certain thing and like something arouses you, or like you're like, oh wow, this is so cool, to not try to like copy a certain style, but like rather to be like, oh, this thing I want to try it out, and then go your own way. That's the only way you can go. I would say we mostly communicate a lot afterwards.
Yeah.
I know that's maybe a little bit uncommon, but again, like find your own way of like doing things. So I really like after every time we made out to be like, what did you really like? What was new to you? What just happened? So usually our talk afterwards is a little bit longer. But in case we're bringing something up which is new, I would be like, oh, I bought this new toy. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely trust you that we can communicate in the moment. I know that nothing will happen that will completely freak me out, because like I trust that you will like observe me and see how I'm reacting, and that you will not cross any boundaries, because like we're so regularly connected, and like yeah, I feel very seen when we interact. We always have a choice. Like we're not defined by some kind of code we put on, like some kind of role that I feel like I have to play every time. But we can always communicate. We can always see what kind of lust I'm feeling or you're feeling in a moment. For me, it's all about experiencing the moment and not taking away the opportunity to go any way where the road leads us.
We talked about for today, maybe I'm gonna do, which I sometimes do also with rope, like to press one time and then you press back. And if you press 2 times, like something needs to be changed or articulated. I'm a big fan of actually saying the thing you wanna say, rather than having a coded word. I'm not turned on just by having ropes in my hand or like being dominant, but I rather need to see the reaction. It really turns me on when, especially when you get in like a certain like, oh, this is something new, this is I'm scared, but in like a nice flirty way. That really turns me on. I think rope can be like a really nice tool to play, especially for us adults that sometimes so much structure everywhere, and like we want to be good, and like everything needs to be in a certain way. To kind of have something where you can see, okay, I'm adding a little bit more pressure, or I loosen up. How do I feel? And also like to see how is your body reacting. Also for myself, when I'm tying myself or also tying others, like you can really easily talk to your body or another body and see how it's reacting. Like sometimes I do the thing when I'm tying you, and like I see like, is the body actually coming closer? Are you more not leaning in, or like are you relaxed from the first second? So also good for you to know.
Mm-hmm.
So I got like some rope, and then of course also safety gear. I really like, it's a little bit unusual, but I really like to, when it's getting hot and sweaty, and also it's nice to do
Smack
a little
someone.
smack. Yeah, but it's also good when it's getting really heated. You know these?
Yeah, I do.
Yes. Really basic clamps, but like what I sometimes really like to do is like to also use a flogger and maybe flog them off. We will see. And then I got something which can be nice. You need to be careful with your rope, but it's like a candle, and it has like 2 of these, so it looks really nice if I'm pouring it on you. How are you feeling about that?
Totally fine.
Are you feeling good with it?
I'm excited about
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Me too. I like to sometimes start with having a little blindfoldy thing, which I think can also help to kind of bring somebody into like the submissive subspace.
Experiencing pain in a setting where it feels safe makes it for me that I can work through feelings much better when I'm feeling them in this setting. Like I can face fear and discomfort and live through them, and like having like almost a moment of catharsis to go through something and then feel lighter after it, because it loses the threat suddenly, like when you're doing it in a setting like this. There is no need to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to take a lot. You don't have to be able to receive a lot of pain in order to be a good sub or something. It's all about what you make out of it. If you want to feel it, go slowly and see how it feels. And don't rush it ever.
For me, it's okay to play with people who are like more bratty and are like, oh no, don't tie me, I'm getting out of it. But I prefer somebody who kind of leans in. And then, of course, sometimes there are people who are like, I really want to get tied. And in the end, they just want to prove that they're still like the top, powerful, whatever. I don't play with that.
Muriel is so sensitive to small cues. Basically, I never have the feeling that I would have to speak up to defend myself, because like most of the time, Muriel realizes that there's something off before I even do it. Yeah, I feel so safe with Muriel that, yeah, it's just nice to play with you.
Nice.